He once swore an oath with trembling lips and tear-filled eyes. An oath spoken in the dark, beside a woman who had nothing left to give, except love. He said, "One day, Mom, I'll repay every sacrifice. I promise." But life has a cruel way of testing promises, and success has an even crueler way of erasing memories. When Elias was 7 years old, hunger became a normal guest in his life. Not the kind of hunger that comes from skipping a meal once in a while, but the kind that makes a child learn how to sleep while his stomach burns. His house had no electricity, no steady roof, and sometimes no door. When it rained, the floor turned into mud. When it was cold, the walls offered no protection. Yet every morning, Elias woke up alive, because his mother made sure of it. Her name was Miriam. Miriam was not educated. She never wore clean shoes. Her hands were cracked from years of washing other people's clothes, scrubbing other people's floors, and carrying other people's burdens. She worked anywhere she was allowed, sometimes anywhere she wasn't. When there was no place for her to sleep, she slept outside. When there was no food, she skipped meals. When Elias cried at night from hunger, she lied and said she wasn't hungry. And every lie tasted like sacrifice. Some nights, she wrapped Elias in her only jacket and sat awake until morning, shivering just to make sure he stayed warm. Other nights, she walked for hours to clean houses until dawn, then returned just in time to walk him to school. Elias noticed everything. He noticed how she smiled when she was tired, how she pretended to eat after feeding him, how she hid her pain behind hope. One night, after Miriam collapsed from exhaustion, Elias sat beside her thin body and cried silently. That was the night he made the promise. He held her hand and whispered, "Mom, one day I'll be rich. I'll build you a house. You'll never work again. I swear I'll pay back everything." Miriam smiled weakly. She didn't ask for riches. She didn't ask for a house. She only said, "Just don't forget me." Years passed. Elias grew older, smarter, and hungrier, not for food, but for success. He studied under streetlights, borrowed books, and walked miles to school. His mother worked even harder as he grew, because education cost money she didn't have. Sometimes she came home bleeding. Sometimes she came home late. Sometimes she didn't come home at all until morning. But Elias kept going. Eventually, his hard work paid off. A scholarship, a job, a promotion, then another. He moved to a city where lights never slept and money spoke louder than promises. He wore suits. He shook hands. He learned how to talk about success, ambition, and future plans. People admired him. They said, "You came from nothing." They said, "You're an inspiration." They said, "You made it." And slowly, Elias began to believe that his new life mattered more than his old one. Calls to his mother became shorter. Visits became rare. Support turned into excuses. "I'm busy. I'll send money later." "Next month, Mom." Miriam never complained. She never said, "I'm sick." She never said, "I'm tired." She never said, "I'm alone." She just said, "I'm proud of you." One winter, Miriam lost her job. Her body was weaker now. Years of sacrifice had stolen her strength. She couldn't stand for long hours anymore. Some nights, she slept outside again. Older, colder, invisible to a world that once used her. She called Elias. The phone rang, and rang, and rang. No answer. Elias was at a dinner party, laughing with people who admired his success. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He glanced at it, saw Mom, and put it back. "I'll call her later," he thought. Later never came. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Miriam stopped calling, not because she didn't need him, but because she didn't want to disturb the life she sacrificed everything for. One night, alone under a broken shelter, she whispered to the cold, "Maybe I already received my reward, seeing him succeed." The call came on a Monday morning. A stranger's voice said, "Are you Elias?" "Yes." "This is the local hospital. Your mother passed away last night." Silence swallowed the room. Elias laughed nervously. "That's impossible," he said. "She was fine." The voice continued, calm and distant. "She was malnourished, exposed to cold. She asked for you." The phone slipped from his hand. For the first time in years, Elias felt the same hunger he felt as a child, but this time, it was guilt. At the funeral, there were only a few people. Neighbors, old co-workers, strangers who knew his mother better than he did. Elias stood beside the coffin, dressed in expensive black clothes, surrounded by flowers he bought with money earned from a life she never got to enjoy. Inside the coffin, Miriam held something in her hand, a folded piece of paper. Elias opened it with shaking fingers. It was written in messy handwriting. My son promised me everything, but I only needed his time. If you're reading this, forgive yourself. I already forgave you. Elias collapsed to his knees. All the houses he could have built, all the money he could have sent, all the time he could have given. Too late. That night, Elias returned to his apartment, silent, luxurious, empty. He looked around and realized something terrifying. He had become successful, but he had failed the one person who made it possible. If the person who sacrificed everything for you called today, would you answer? And if they were gone tomorrow, would your success still feel like success? So tell me, is chasing success worth it if we lose the people who paid the price for it?